Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to completely upend how you think about secure communication by tracing it back to its deeply human roots. You know, when you hear the word cryptography, you probably picture computer hackers, some complex matrix-style green code, or maybe the ultra-sterile security systems protecting your bank account. We tend to think of it as this purely digital, modern phenomenon. But today, we're diving into fascinating source material that argues cryptography isn't just a technical mechanism at all. It is fundamentally a socio-technical practice designed to protect human intimacy. So let's dive right into this seemingly bizarre question and see how human vulnerability is actually the true mother of invention. I mean, it sounds like the setup to a strange joke, right? But as you'll see, the mathematical protocols securing your devices right this second were born out of the exact same desperate need for secrecy that plagued lovers centuries ago. This desperation to hide, to protect, and to just communicate under threat, that's a universally human drive.
We usually view cryptography as cold algorithms protecting banks, but the source material reveals it's actually a practice of intimacy. Conventional cryptography focuses on math, computational hardness, and really strict security rules. But romantic cryptography? That's entirely about intimacy and survival. It emerges wherever human bonds are threatened by surveillance, coercion, or unequal power. Think about what relational survival actually means out in the real world. It's not just about protecting data points on a server, it's about protecting a fragile human connection when the outside world is openly hostile to it.
Section 1. A technology of intimacy. Let's look at how hiding information is really about protecting relationships under hostile observation.
Since ancient Egypt and the Spartan Citadel, secure communication has emerged wherever human bonds must survive censorship. The very definition comes from the Greek kryptos, meaning hidden, and graphene, to write. Let's just appreciate how clever our ancestors were for a second. Take the Spartan Citadel. Imagine taking a long strip of parchment and wrapping it spirally around a specific wooden cylinder. You write your message horizontally across the wrapped parchment, and then you unwrap it. To anyone intercepting your messenger on the road, it's just a meaningless jumble of random letters on a ribbon. But when the receiver wraps it around a cylinder of the exact same diameter, boom, the letters magically realign into a readable message. People have literally always needed these ingenious ways to keep their private worlds safe from prying eyes.
Section 2. The Queen's Secret Letters. To really grasp this, we need to look at an incredible historical anchor, the correspondence of Queen Marie Antoinette and Axel von Fersen.
During the French Revolution, these two lovers faced a truly pervasive adversary, ecology. By 1791, revolutionary surveillance was absolutely everywhere, watching their every move. By 1792, just to survive, Marie and Fersen adopted a hybrid system of partial encryption, using code words and deliberate redactions. And by 1793, the stakes were unimaginably high. They weren't just hiding their relationship from court gossips anymore, they were literally communicating for their lives. In 1793 France, a single intercepted letter didn't just mean a bad scandal, it meant a swift trip to the guillotine.
Now, what's incredibly fascinating is that across 25 letters from the Queen, historians found exactly 53 deliberately redacted, completely unreadable lines. For centuries, historians could see the ink heavily scribbled out by someone desperate to hide the words beneath, but nobody knew what they actually said. It was this physical manifestation of a protected secret, a really bold visual statement that a boundary had been drawn between the lovers and the rest of the world.
I shall love you up to the death. Wow. When advanced X-ray technology finally peered beneath those scribbles centuries later, they found raw, vulnerable, high-stakes phrases exactly like this one. It proved that their secrecy wasn't just strategic, it was this intense act of relational labor. Hiding the information was a vital way of preserving their intimate bond when the entire world was watching, just waiting for them to slip up.
Section 3. The 4 Pillars of Secrecy. The crucial point here is how this 18th century royal romance perfectly demonstrates a model that we still use today.
The researchers identified a 4-component model explaining how human intimacy is actively engineered when it's under threat. Let's break this down because it's super interesting. First up is exclusive sharedness. This is all about creating a strict boundary around a we. Think of this like an inside joke you have with your best friend. It's a shared language that only the two of you fully grasp. Second is the double audience. Third is adversary ecology. This just means deeply understanding exactly who is trying to intercept your message. I mean, hiding a text message from your boss requires a totally different strategy than hiding it from a jealous partner, right? And fourth is cultural scripting, which dictates what's actually acceptable to hide based on the social norms of your specific time period.
And this brilliantly illustrates the double audience metaphor. We all wear masks and hide data to protect our inner circles from the outside world. This is where the magic really happens. If a censor intercepts and reads a letter, it just looks like incredibly boring political news or mundane daily updates. But when the intended lover reads it, using the shared context they've carefully built together, they see the true emotional meaning hiding in plain sight. The message is literally doing double duty, satisfying the censor while feeding the relationship. Section 4. Alice, Bob, and consent. So, how does an 18th century love letter relate to the little padlock icon on your web browser?
If you've ever studied computer science, you know every encryption problem starts with a classic scenario. Alice wants to send a message to Bob without Eve reading it. Well, in our historical reality, Alice is Marie, Bob is Persian, and Eve represents the revolutionaries trying to intercept their letters. The complex math we use today just formalizes this exact human condition. At the end of the day, we are all still just Alice and Bob trying to keep Eve out of our private lives.
Modern asymmetric cryptography fundamentally reorganizes trust, allowing complete strangers to safely negotiate consent. Marie and Fersen used symmetric cryptography. They already knew each other intimately and could share a secret codebook beforehand. But asymmetric cryptography, which literally runs the modern internet, solves a much harder problem. How do two strangers who have never even met establish a secure connection? It does this by using a pair of keys. It lets you post a public key out into the open as an invitation for anyone to send you a locked message, while keeping your private key safely hidden on your device to unlock it. This gives you absolute control over exactly who gets access to your private world.
When your devices use mathematical keys like RSA or ECC, they are really just formalizing human concepts of recognition and the protection of vulnerability. Think about it. A public key is just an invitation for connection. A private key is your ability to selectively consent to that connection, to reciprocate safely. And digital signatures? They are the mathematical equivalent of promise keeping. The code is literally just encoding our most basic social needs.
Section 5. The archival adversary. But as we translate these human needs into modern tech, we face a massive new threat.
So what happens when our secrets become permanent? The source material warns us about the dangers of the archive. When records outlive their context, the archive itself becomes an adversary. Marie Antoinette's letters were archived and eventually decoded centuries later. Today, every text, every digital transaction is instantly archived, creating a terrifying permanence that our ancestors never had to deal with.
While highly secure, blockchain is structurally hostile to intimacy because it forces irreversible disclosure. The researchers explicitly call out blockchain architectures here. Because a blockchain is fundamentally designed to be a permanent, unchangeable public ledger, it completely destroys the exclusive sharedness and double audience protections we just talked about. You can't have a double audience if every single action is permanently and transparently verified for the entire world to see, forever. It completely removes our ability to deny things when we need to protect ourselves.
Here is a wild thought. Intimacy actually requires forgetting. For human relationships to work, bounded trust is necessary, which is why modern protocols often use forward secrecy to ensure past messages can't be exposed tomorrow. If you want to protect people living under oppressive regimes, or honestly just allow human beings to forgive each other and move on, data needs to safely decay. Meanings change, contexts vanish. Permanence is actually the enemy of privacy.
This explainer really shows that cryptography isn't just about math, it is a fundamental tool for defending the human condition against extreme power asymmetries. Whether you're a queen facing a revolutionary tribunal or a modern citizen dealing with endless corporate data harvesting, the ability to selectively hide information is absolutely essential to maintaining human dignity. We are fighting the exact same battle Marie and Fersen fought, just with different tools.
So ask yourself this as you navigate the digital world today. Who are you protecting, and who is the adversary in your own ecology? We have a choice in how we build the future. We can build systems that understand human vulnerability, or we can build digital prisons of permanent exposure. The science of keeping secrets has always been and will always be the science of staying human.